February 24th, 2022. A date etched in history. The day the world watched in disbelief. The day Kiev woke to the deafening roar of explosions. It was a sound that shattered the morning calm, a terrifying symphony of chaos that marked the beginning of the unimaginable. It began as a distant rumble, a tremor that shook the ground. Then the sky lit up with a sinister orange glow as fireballs erupted in the distance. The city, once a vibrant tapestry of life, was now shrouded in fear and uncertainty. I, a young soldier with dreams of a peaceful future, was jolted awake by the earth-shattering blasts. I lay in bed for a moment, my mind struggling to comprehend the sounds that pierced the stillness of the pre-dawn light. My fiancée, Irina, stirred beside me, her eyes wide with terror. "What's happening?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I didn't need an answer. I knew. I had trained for this moment, yet nothing could have truly prepared me for the surge of adrenaline, the raw, primal fear that gripped my heart. "It's war," I said, my voice a strained whisper, the words heavy with dread. I scrambled out of bed, my movements urgent and determined. Every second counted, every instinct screamed at me to get to my unit, to join my brothers in arms. I pulled on my uniform, the familiar weight of my combat boots grounding me in the surreal chaos that was unfolding around me. Irina clung to me, her tears a silent plea for me to stay. I held her close, the scent of her lavender perfume a painful reminder of the life we were fighting to protect. "I have to go," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "This is my duty, this is our home." Kyiv, the heart of Ukraine, was in the throes of panic. The streets, usually bustling with life, were now choked with a tide of fear and uncertainty. Car horns blared in a discordant symphony as residents attempted to flee the city, desperate to escape the encroaching shadows of war. Families huddled together, their faces etched with terror as the ground shook beneath their feet. The air, heavy with the stench of smoke and fear, crackled with a palpable tension. I navigated my way through the chaos, my heart pounding in my chest. The city I knew, the city I loved, was unrecognizable. The familiar landmarks were now obscured by plumes of smoke, the air filled with the acrid smell of burning debris. Sirens wailed, their piercing cries a constant reminder of the imminent danger. I could hear the distant thud of artillery fire, the ominous sound drawing closer. The faces of the people I passed, mothers clutching their children, elderly couples struggling with their belongings, young men my age, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination, mirrored the turmoil that raged within me. As I ran, I could hear the panicked voices around me, speaking in hushed, urgent tones. "They're bombing the airport," one man said, his voice trembling. "My sister lives near the military base," a woman cried, her face stained with tears. "I can't get through to her." I pushed onward, the weight of my mission heavy on my shoulders. I had to reach my unit. They were counting on me. I could only pray that I wasn't too late.
Anna, a seasoned war correspondent, stood on a rooftop, her camera trained on the chaos unfolding below. The early morning light cast an eerie glow on the city, illuminating the plumes of smoke rising from the outskirts of Kiev. She had reported from countless war zones, witnessing the horrors of human conflict firsthand. But there was something different about this war, something that sent chills down her spine. She had arrived in Ukraine just a few weeks earlier, drawn by the escalating tensions along the border. She had a feeling, a journalist's intuition, that something big was about to happen. But nothing could have prepared her for the sheer scale of the Russian invasion, the raw terror that had gripped the nation. She adjusted her headset, her voice steady and calm as she delivered her report. "This is Anna Petrova reporting live from Kiev," she began, her words reaching millions of viewers around the world. Just hours ago, Russian forces launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Explosions have rocked the capital, and there are reports of fighting across the country. As she spoke, a series of explosions thundered in the distance, shaking the ground beneath her feet. She didn't flinch. This was her job, to bear witness, to tell the stories of the people caught in the crossfire. "The situation here is fluid," she continued, her voice unwavering. "But one thing is clear. The Ukrainian people are resilient. They are determined to defend their homeland."
Across the city, in a secure bunker deep beneath the government quarter, President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the nation. His face, usually creased with a warm smile, was now etched with a steely determination, his eyes burning with an unwavering resolve. He spoke of the unprovoked aggression of the enemy that had invaded their sovereign land, but he also spoke of courage, of unity, of the unwavering spirit of the Ukrainian people. "This is our land," he declared, his voice booming with defiance. "These are our cities, these are our children, we will defend them, we will not give up." His words, broadcast across the airwaves, were a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. He called on every Ukrainian, regardless of their background, to stand together, to fight for their freedom, for their right to exist. He acknowledged the fear, the uncertainty that gripped the nation. But he reminded his people that they were not alone. The world stood with Ukraine. He spoke of the outpouring of support from across the globe, of the condemnation of Russia's aggression, of the promises of aid and assistance. His words were a rallying cry, a call to arms that resonated deep within the hearts of every Ukrainian. He was their leader, their voice, and he would stand with them, fight with them, until the very end. To armed citizens.
The call to action was answered. Across the country, ordinary citizens heeded the president's words. They flocked to recruitment centers, forming long queues that snaked through the streets. They were teachers, shopkeepers, artists, and students, all united by a fierce love for their country, a determination to defend their homeland.
Among them was Artem, my closest friend since childhood. We had shared everything, dreams, fears, aspirations. Now, we were united by a common purpose, to repel the invaders.
Usually I'm a jovial and carefree spirit, but now I was a picture of grim determination. I embraced Dmytro, a silent understanding passing between us. "We have to do this," I said, my voice firm. "For our families, for our future."
I nodded, my heart heavy. I knew the risks, the sacrifices we were about to make, but there was no other choice.
We joined the throngs of volunteers, our faces a mix of apprehension and resolve. We received our weapons, the cold steel a stark reminder of the gravity of the situation. We were given rudimentary training, our movements clumsy, but determined.
I looked around at the faces of my comrades, ordinary people transformed into soldiers overnight. We were united by a common purpose, a shared destiny. We were the defenders of Ukraine.
The news of the invasion spread like wildfire, igniting a wave of terror and anguish across the globe. In a small village nestled amidst the rolling hills of western Ukraine, a mother received the news that shattered her world. Her son, a soldier stationed near the eastern border, was missing in action. The phone call from the Ministry of Defense was brief, devoid of details, a cold, clinical confirmation of her worst fears. Her world crumbled around her. Her son, her pride and joy, was gone. She clutched the phone to her ear, her body racked with sobs, the weight of her grief unbearable. The life she knew, the life she cherished, had been ripped apart by the senseless violence that had engulfed her country. She sat by the window, her gaze lost in the distance, her heart aching for her son. The world outside continued to turn, oblivious to her pain, to the thousands of mothers across Ukraine who shared her grief. The rhythm of life, once a source of comfort, now mocked her with its normalcy. She clung to the memory of her son's smile, the sound of his laughter, the warmth of his embrace.
Days turned into nights, each one a blur of fear, exhaustion, and adrenaline. Dmytro and Artem fought with the ferocity of cornered wolves, their bodies pushed to the limit. The streets of their once familiar city became a labyrinth of rubble and shadows, the air thick with the stench of cordite and fear. They witnessed acts of unspeakable brutality, the horrors of war seared into their memories, but they also witnessed extraordinary acts of courage, of selflessness, of love for their country that transcended the fear. They saw civilians risking their lives to help wounded soldiers, to guide families to safety, to stand defiant against the invaders.
They heard stories of grandmothers confronting Russian tanks with nothing but their words, of farmers towing away captured military vehicles, of ordinary people becoming extraordinary heroes. They fought alongside their comrades with a fierce determination, their bonds forged in the crucible of war. They shared their rations, their ammunition, their hopes and their fears. They laughed together, cried together, and faced death together. They were united by a common purpose, a shared destiny. They were the defenders of Ukraine,
The war exacted a heavy toll. Cities lay in ruins, their streets scarred with the wounds of battle. The relentless barrage of artillery fire turned buildings into rubble, leaving behind a ghostly landscape of shattered dreams. The human cost was immeasurable. Thousands lay dead, their lives cut short by the senseless violence. Families were torn apart, their homes reduced to ashes. Anna, the war correspondent, documented the human cost of the conflict with a heavy heart. She interviewed grieving mothers, their faces etched with pain, their voices hoarse from crying. She spoke to children, their eyes wide with fear, their innocence shattered by the horrors they had witnessed. She recorded the stories of soldiers, their bodies bearing the scars of battle, their spirits unbroken. She knew that her words, her images, had the power to inform the world, to galvanize support for the Ukrainian people. But she also knew that no words, no images, could truly capture the depth of their suffering, the resilience of their spirit. She had seen the best and worst of humanity in the crucible of war. She had witnessed the horrors inflicted by blind hatred, the depths of human cruelty. But she had also witnessed extraordinary acts of courage, compassion, and selflessness. She had seen the indomitable spirit of the Ukrainian people, their unwavering determination to defend their homeland, their refusal to be broken. Weeks after the invasion began, the spirit of Ukraine remained unbroken. The world watched in awe as ordinary citizens took up arms, defending their homeland with a ferocity that surprised the invaders. The Ukrainian people, once dismissed by some as passive, had shown their true mettle. They were a nation forged in adversity, their resilience honed over centuries of struggle. They were fighting for their survival, for their right to determine their own destiny. The world rallied behind them, sending aid, weapons, and words of encouragement. Volunteers from across the globe flocked to Ukraine, drawn by the desire to help, to stand in solidarity with the nation fighting for its very existence. The fight for Ukraine was a fight for freedom, for democracy, for the right of a nation to choose its own path. It was a fight against tyranny, against oppression, against the forces of darkness that threatened to engulf the world. The spirit of Ukraine, the spirit of defiance, of resilience, of unwavering hope, would not be extinguished. It would continue to burn brightly, a beacon of light in the darkness, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit.